What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Savjaz21 here with another noob guide, this time with Medieval Dynasty. So let's get it started. First look, go into the settings, nothing big. Gameplay, your classic blood, head bobbing. Could play with all these. Autosave, time autosave. Note on this, it resets every time you start the game. So if you place it, let's say to 15 minutes, make sure when you restart the game, you come back in here and reset it. I leave it 30 minutes because I basically manual save all the time. Autosave on quest end is something I recommend that you guys do. So like that, if you do a quest and you forget to manually save, it gets done. Yes. Next, classical graphics. Like you see, I do windowed full screen, so it allows my mouse to go off screen because I do play with the controller, so it doesn't matter. I could play with the controller, you just don't have any sound. So you could adjust this to your liking. Right now I have ultra, high, low. That's what's recommended. For me, sound wise, music I turned off. There's good music though, but it gets a little elevator wise, so it gets a little tiring. Rest is sound effects, interface, blah blah blah. And in keybinds, unfortunately the gamepad, you cannot modify any of the bindings on this. So if you go in here, you can't do anything to actually change them. Keyboard and mouse, of course, you could change those if you need, but yeah, gamepad cannot be changed. So just a little note on that. So let's get into the big stuff. So we're gonna do a new game. We're gonna go to customize because there's a few things to note in here. One is difficulty. I leave it to normal. I find it a good balance for what comes with the animals that you find, as like the boar, the bears, the wolves, the bison that are the animals that attack, and the bandits. It's a good length, good difficulty. I find as normal. You could go hardcore if you want. I don't recommend that. I recommend a normal setting. Season length. So how this works with the seasons is every day is like an equivalent of a week, if you want, about. So you have like 3 days, and then you're gonna go from, you always start in autumn and you go through autumn, summer, fall, and then winter, and then it resets. So you have 3 days per season. So 3 days in autumn, 3 days in summer, 3 days in spring, and then 3 days in winter. So what I recommend, 3 days is a little short. If you want to do more time management, my main game is set to 3 days. It's a little time management consuming because the days do pass. You can work overnight, but it gets a little overwhelming when you have lots of stuff to do. What I recommend is actually a 5 day. Don't do a more than that. I don't recommend it long run wise. 5 days is the best, and what I know, it gives you enough time to do what you need to do in the season, and short enough that you're not gonna run out of resources, because the resources do not respawn. They respawn per season. So let's say you cut wood, well, wood's a little bad example, but let's say you take branches, rocks in an area, or kill animals and that, they won't respawn till the next season. So if you go too long on your seasons, you're gonna run out of resources. So 5 is my recommendation. Long enough to do what you need to do, and short enough that you won't run out of resources. And the other thing with the seasons is your crops. Once you get into farming, your crops actually follow the season. So every crop has a season it grows from. So example, like carrots, they go, you could grow them in the winter till I think it's autumn, if I'm not mistaken. So if you put your season too long, you're gonna be waiting for those crops for a while. So that's one note on that. Taxes, I leave it to 100%. I think it's basically the default. So normal taxes and that. Building limit, you could put it higher, but I think with the building limit they give you, unless you want to do a not a playthrough, but more of a infinite game loop or long-term game loop, I'll bring that up. But it does take, like it says in the bottom there, multiplier for building it through the game. Increasing it may significantly alter performance in the late stage of the game. It's highly advisable to leave default value. The reason for that is because if you put a lot of stuff in one area, you are gonna get issues. Events is basically every season change you have a chance to get an event. So it's something that happens in your village and then you got to do a choice. I left it there on, so it gives it's a little fun thing. Example for an event is like a thief comes in your village and steal some stuff, and then you get some options. I don't want to spoil the things, but that's a type of event for what they're talking on that. Unlimited HP, unlimited stamina, lack of hunger, lack of thirst, all self-explanatory. Unlimited weight on this one, if you want to have a more casual gameplay without the whole weight management thing added to it, I'd recommend taking this. It makes the game, we're gonna select it for this one because for the noob tutorials we're gonna do unlimited weight. Makes the game a little less grindy if you want, because you could carry more stuff and everything, so that helps if you want a more casual play. It doesn't affect the game play negatively. You still have your storage and that you need you need to take care of, because your inhabitants actually use the storages and that, so you still need to build the storages and everything. The only difference is that as a player you don't need to break your head, like when you're building, go and get, like, let's say maximum 40 logs, because you can't carry more, then go and build the thing, then run back to your storage. and go and get the other 5 logs that were missing, and then run back to your building, do that, then run back to your storage, get the stone, then run back to the building. So it takes that game loot out of it, so you could carry 100 logs on you, 100 that, and just go around with your business. So gameplay wise, if you want a more casual and less grindy type, I'd recommend putting unlimited weight on. Inhabitant food needs, water needs, and wood need, I wouldn't touch. The balance is actually pretty good in what I saw. Bandit wise, I'd recommend turning it on. It's a fun little add-on. They're random, they're not that hard, but they're good challenge, and they also give you loot. So I'd recommend it. It's a fun little add-on for that. Enemy HP, enemy damage, I wouldn't touch this. It's well balanced. If you actually get headshots most of the time, it's as you get better arrows and stuff like that, it's a one-shot kill with a headshot. Regular arrows, regular bolts, if you're using actual crossbows, is usually 2 hits. And then of course if you go after like the bison, the bears and that, it takes a little more, but it's normal. They're higher end enemies, so it's normal for that. Poisoning has to do with your food. As your food deteriorates in quality, because it does have a quality meter, it's gonna add a poisoning stat. It doesn't affect much because you do have certain herbs and that counter the poisoning. So there's ways, how can I say this, there's ways that the game gives you to balance it out. So I kept it on. Doesn't affect anything really much. And usually, like, if you get your meat that's poisoned and you cook it, the poisoning effect does get removed. Temperature wise, I use it. I like the fact that you got in winter wear fur, not in the summer wear something a little more hot. We'll check that that a little more in detail in the game. There's actually a spot where it shows you the stuff. Fast crafting, I'd recommend. It's not game breaking, it's just because, like, when you start crafting either tools and this and that, it's more of a quality of life. It makes things a little funner. So I'd recommend that on. I didn't put it on my other gameplay, the main one. It's something I regret. I would turn that on, and I have it at a 3-day season that we talked about earlier. I would have put that at 5.2, having known that. So recommended. Fast crafting, just a quality of life thing, doesn't break the game or anything. You still have to craft your stuff. You just, instead of taking 5 seconds, it's gonna take 3 or 2 to do that. XP multiplier, I put it mine at 200%, and I'm gonna put it back at 200%. I just find doubling that cuts down on the whole grind itself. Like, you don't need to over grind the game, but it's enough that you still need to get your XP, do your hunting, and do your things to get the stuff. It's just, you don't need to over grind. It doesn't make the game just a grind of cutting wood to get points and stuff like that. You actually cut wood to do what you need to do. You do your hunting to do what you need to do instead of just hunting and killing things for points. I find it gives it a better balance at 200. That's my recommended setting. That's what I use for my main game that I have. So I still have to work for the houses and technology and everything. I think advances in a good stage. It doesn't make the gameplay too crazy or too quick, so it doesn't affect it too much. And my actual let me tab out. We're gonna lose a little the sound of the game, but in my main thing, I have basically a 3-day season in normal, and my XP is all at 200. I don't have fast crafting, so that's one of the main differences on it, and I don't have unlimited weight. So we're gonna go with these settings. So 5-day taxes and everything, and we're gonna start the game. So we're gonna skip that. A little quick loading screen here. So here we go. So this is what we start with. So setting wise, once you actually set the things, like you guys see, there's no way to change that. You have the basic settings, but you cannot change the world settings. So that's why I recommend you do it in the beginning before you do anything else. And what I usually do is that's why I don't bother with the 15 minutes autosave thing, because I always do quick saves. So like you see here, first look 1, first look, so I have always 3 and I overwrite like that. I don't bother with anything else. We're gonna do a quick save here, and we're gonna call this the noob guide save, so we know where we are. So like I said, you see, starting a new life. Now what we're gonna do is look at the tabs we have. So inventory, self-explanatory. So like you guys see, we have infinite inventory here, and we start with basic stuff. So in the beginning, you're pretty good. Start basic stuff. Your filters here for tools. See, we just have a simple torch, clothing, food items, crafting items are going to show up here, and this one is your money and anything that's special. Clothing here, hat, pretty simple thing. Your jacket, the shirt, gloves, pants, and shoes. You could upgrade all this. Then you have the on the right, what they call the over jacket. You have your arrows, what's equipped here is going to show here. If you have a torch or no torch is going to show here. If you have a pouch and a backpack, which when you have infinite weight is not a must, but if you don't have it and you decided to go with the weight management, this is the first thing I would recommend you guys go get. That's going to bring you up to a I think it's maximum an extra 15 in all. So yeah, we'll go and check those out. Then of course you have your quick slots where you put the weapons in. When you're using a controller, you do have a quick circle that you could select your stuff. So that's one option you have there. And then of course you have here your parameters. So in here you have your health. So you start at 100 and then you could get perks to bring that up. This is your food counter, water counter, your poisoning meter. When you eat poison stuff, there's a meter. It does go down in time, or you could take a plant to bring it down. And there's the drunken meter. So there's a meter when you drink a mead or what, it does give you water, but it does bring your drunken meter up. And it does affect you visually, so it's pretty funny. Here you have your temperature. That's the temperature outside. This is too hot on the red, too cold in the blue, and then you have green tempered. So depending what clothes you actually wear, this meter is gonna change. Now, to know what exactly you have in protection, you have heat protection up here and cold protection down here. So you see right now we're balanced 15 to 15. If I do this and I unequip, see how this changed? Now we're at 10% and this moved a little. If I go here and I unequip this, see now we're at 5%, this moved a little. And if I go here and unequip it, we're at 0% and this moved a little. We're in spring, so it's pretty okay to don't have any clothing for now. But that's how that affects that. And you see it here, it says it in the clothing, plus 5% heat and cold protection. So right now we're balanced at 15-15, and this is your bath meter, or how bad you smell. This is gonna affect NPC talking. If you're too dirty, you won't be able to talk to the NPCs. They'll tell you go take a bath. Tip: you could just walk in deep water and that'll clean you, or if it's raining, it'll automatically go down slowly and clean you. So that's basically the main look on this tab. Now if we go in skills, we have the different how do we call that, subcategories in here. So we have extraction, we have hunting, farming, diplomacy, survival, and production. So each one has its own skill tree, skills, and each one upgrades with what you do. So extraction, it tells here, skill tree determines how proficient you are in cutting down trees, mining, and digging. So that gives you an idea what you need to do to upgrade that. You need to do cut down trees, mine, dig, those kinds of activities. We'll do another video on the skills and take a look at them more in detail separately, and what I advise or advise not to get. So quick recap. So like you see here, skill tree determines how proficient you are in combat and skinning animals. So hunting, of course, is killing animals, skinning them, and that is going to give you points. And right here you have your level. So this is your current level, and this is your current points you have to spend. Sorry, this is going to be your current level. So now we're 0 everywhere, and then this is the amount of experience to the next point. So if we just go and we cut a tree down, we're going to get experience in extraction, which is going to give us points that we're going to be able to do in there. Next is the journal. So this is all your quests. Selecting a quest is actually going to highlight it in the map like you guys see here. It brings an exclamation point, and if we zoom in, the exclamation point has some little markers around it. So that means it's the quest that's targeted. So that lets you select the different quests. You could close the window, open it. Completed quests if you want to know, failed quests, and of course recent events history if you want to see what type of events you had in that in the past. Map, self-explanatory. You have the temperature outside. You have your day and your time. That's very important because the NPCs actually do follow a wake up and sleep cycle. So if you go too late, they'll actually be sleeping and you won't be able to interact. And they actually wake up at a certain time and come at a house at a certain time. So that's important to know. And also it gives you an idea of when near the season end. I don't know why, but you always get teleported to your house every season end. So that gives you an idea when the season's gonna end. We're in spring. It always gives you with the year. This is the kings, the titles you have. And here is basically how do we call it, your prestige. If you're neutral, high, it's gonna change here and give you the info. Management, this is your bread and butter, and this is gonna be a video on its own. Quick outlook, people you have, buildings you have, fields, animals, and this is your storage that you have. So we're gonna look at this more in detail. Here's your reputation, the taxes every year. So basically when every spring, first day of spring after a year, you're gonna have to pay taxes depending of the buildings you have, fields you have, and everything like that. The amount you own is going to change. Here is your basically your village, where it's at. It's stat. If it's a little city, settlement, like right now we're traveling because we don't have anything. Population is you plus whatever people you have. Workers is going to depend of the buildings you have. So let's say you have a hunting building and you put somebody in there, it's going to be one worker out of the available amount of workers. Buildings is the amount of buildings you have. Right now the right is the limit of buildings you could have, and the left is basically the amount of buildings you actually have. Food demand, water demand, wood demand, self-explanatory, but note These are only going to show when you put the storage. So once you build a food storage, this is going to actually populate a number. This in here, the demand is going to be basically your people and the amount of food they need a day, and this is your actual production of the amount of food you have a day available. Same thing with the water. Once you put a well down, you're gonna have this that's gonna get populated. And wood, once you put a wood building, which is called the woodshed, you're gonna have basically the demand of, this is the demand of not necessarily firewood, all wood. So same thing, demand from the population you have and what you actually produce. But like I said, this is going to be a video on itself. It's very complex on this one, and we'll probably go in my normal save that I'm playing now. Technology wise is basically, as you get dynasty points, you unlock different kinds of buildings. Every building has also sub stuff that you could buy with your money, basically up here. So it's basically you buy blueprints. This gets unlocked with the right here, very important. Read this. This is what tells you what unlocks what gives you points in there. So every building you build is going to give you points in here, and as you go down in points, you're gonna unlock different stuff. So excavation points, you need to have 500 points in here. So as you go down, you're gonna unlock the buildings, and then you could come and unlock blueprints. To unlock blueprints, you gotta select the building you want, and then it's gonna allow you to come and click on the blueprints you want. So same thing with hunting, tells you what you need, and buildings as they unlock the point requirements. So production, farming is the same thing. And now knowledge. This is very useful. It tells you the explanation of a little how it works, the game, character status, collecting resources. It does have little videos, so it's pretty cool on that. And then item wise, this is a little overlooked, but if you go in here and you open it up, it actually tells you what the item is. It gives you a how do you call it, a brief description of the quality here. So this is your durability, the weight of the item, then it's basically what it's worth. So if you see the recurve bow is 320, resource storage, you could store it in basically resources, and it tells you where you could craft it. So this is a good place to come and see the info on this. So you see 3 durability, the weight per arrow, the price, and you have also the info on the damage. Now if we go to, let's say, crafting, stone, it's going to tell you the durability, how much every stone is in weight, and what it's worth again, and a little information here. So the same thing like clay, where you could get it, weight, and how much you could sell it. So this is a good place to go in if you're like looking for where was that? Straw. That's how I found out that actually reeds give you straw. So you have it here, a type of building material collected from picking up reeds or crafting crops into grain, threshing. So in the beginning, you're going to be going and getting reeds, which are on the side of lakes, mostly in that, to give you straw. And then after that, you could actually, with the barn, make your own straw also, and other ways to get it. So again, durability, weight, and price for sale. So this is a very useful tab to have, to know what material, where to get it, how to craft it. Same thing like these decorations. That's the little symbol. Miscellaneous is basically what I was talking about in the inventory. This is where it's going to go into. So a fun little tab here. Always useful to go check it out. It's going to give you the info of where you could get it, how and where it could be crafted. So like crafting, for example, a tool like a longbow, you need to be, requires arrow quiver, can be used hunting, but it's also a ranged weapon crafted at the workbench in the smithy and or hunting lodge. So it actually tells you to where you could craft it. So that's a quick look and a quick starter look of what the game has to offer, general management and things like that. So I hope you've enjoyed this noob tutorial, and we'll be catching you on another one. Have a good one. Take care.